What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ChoosingBeggars. Alright, this story's called Choosing Beggar Wants Me to Buy Her Expensive Food. So around the start of the first lockdown, some close friends of my parents, Mike and Katie, caught Brovid pretty bad and couldn't leave the house. And I used to go to school with their daughter, and so they asked if I wouldn't mind doing some shopping for them every now and then, and they'd pay me back. And I was perfectly happy doing that, and I was doing it for an old lady who lived on my road as well, so I wasn't even going out of my way at all. Anyway, Mike and Katie's neighbor had heard about what I was doing, and she somehow got a hold of my phone number, and so one day when I was on a walk with my friend, I get a call, and this lady who I never have spoken to before in my life basically says, "Hi, OP, I heard what you were doing for Mike and Katie, and since I live right next to them, could you please do my shopping for me too?" And I was okay with this since she lived right next door to the people who I was already shopping for, and I didn't have to go out of my way to deliver her stuff for her. So the next day, she sent me a list of really expensive things, like two 35-pound bottles of wine and some fancy over-the-counter cheese and deli meat. Anyway, I bought all the things for her and knocked on her door and gave her the items. Instead of saying thank you, she has the audacity to say, "What took you so long? I sent you the list over half an hour ago." To which I replied, "I just finished dropping around Mike's and Katie's stuff." She got all angry because I should have prioritized her because her items were more expensive and thus should take priority. I brushed aside her comments and handed her the receipts from the shops, which, by the way, totaled over £100 worth of stuff, and my bank details so she could pay me back. But she took one look at the receipts and my bank details and said, "What do I need with these?" And I felt slightly confused, so I replied with, "Oh, those are the receipts from the shops, and these are my bank details, so you can put the money in my account." She cut me off and said, "Why would I pay you back? You took such a long time getting my food for me. I'm not gonna pay you for such bad service." Then she closed the door on me and I knocked on the door, but she didn't open up again. I was feeling really upset and stressed by this whole conversation. I'm a bit socially awkward and I find one-on-one conversations a little daunting. And I got a text message the next day from her and I expected it to be her saying she paid me or something, but it was another list. So I ignore the list and go about my day, £100 plus out of pocket because of her. Anyway, I get a call from her later that day and she's threatening to get me fired for not doing her shopping. Thing is, I'm a freelance graphic designer. I work for myself, so that threat, even if you can call it that, didn't really scare me. But I was still upset about her basically not paying me back for the things I'd bought for her and being vaguely threatened by some random lady. For about a week or so after, she would constantly text me shopping lists or nasty remarks. Eventually, she just gave up texting me, but she never paid me back. Updates. Here's an update for everyone interested. Mike and Katie told me that they got in contact with their neighbor asking her to pay me. She apparently didn't even try to lie. She just told them that I took too long to deliver the stuff and she was angry at the bad service, so I didn't deserve to be paid. I wasn't taking any money from this except the cost of the food. So I sent the neighbor a text basically telling her I had told Neighborhood Watch about what she had done and I was going to tell the local police and take her to small claims court if she doesn't pay me by the end of this week. I haven't gotten a text back from her yet, but I'll let you know what happens next. Also, thank you for all the wholesome hugs and silver awards. Update 2. So I got a check for the full amount that she owed me dropped through my letterbox today. That's a good ending. I was really sad for OP for a second there, but it all worked out in the end. At least mean neighbor lady didn't lie or whatever. She was an honest butthole, which you gotta appreciate in the world full of dishonest buttholes. Alright, this story's called Picked Up a Hitchhiker Yesterday and Lived to Tell the Tale. I added that last bit. I decided to drive down to Florida for a bit to escape the horrible winter in New Jersey. I'm in my mid-30s and suffer from depression, especially seasonal. I moved back in with my parents after the pandemic started. I was previously living in a tropical country. February is always the worst month for me. This is the first time I've been in New Jersey in February since 2014. I drive an early 2010s Audi S5 convertible, which is a very nice looking car. I was in much better financial shape when I bought it, but things have gotten so bad that I had to sell it. I've driven it across the USA twice, once when I moved out to California and once when I had to move back because I couldn't afford it anymore, and taken many other road trips. I got my first Brovid vaccine shot last week. Despite my life not going as I envisioned, I've been feeling immensely privileged. My plan for day 3 of my trip was to drive from Walterboro, South Carolina, all the way to my destination in Tampa, a 6-hour drive. I was planning to stop in Savannah, Georgia to see the Green Meldrum House, which was General William T. Sherman's headquarters during his occupation of the city in the Civil War, and maybe have some soul food. Typical American road trip stuff. I put the top down and head to a gas station across the road from my hotel. After I fill up, I park in front of the convenience store to grab some water and snacks. I return to my car and start getting ready to leave. As I'm sorting things out, setting up navigation, etc., a woman, I'll call her Beth, comes up on my passenger side and asks me if I can give her a ride. Beth's definitely had a rough life. She might be 30, she might be 60. I don't really know how old she is. Her clothes are a bit disheveled, but clean. Same with her hair. Poor dental care. I'm traveling solo, and the front seat of my car has grocery bags, food, and other stuff on it, but no suitcases. I ask her where she needs to go, and she just replies, "Just to the nearest truck stop." But then she asks which direction I'm going, and I stupidly tell her Tampa. She then asks to go as far south as you can take me. I tell her that I'm planning to stop in Savannah for a while, and I can take her as far as there. It's a little over an hour away. Her final destination is Miami, but I don't feel comfortable taking her further than Savannah. I clear off the front seat of my car and throw all the junk in the back. The seat adjustment doesn't work because of some corroded electrical components, and I let Beth know that. It's stuck in a fairly comfortable position, so she's okay with it. I take a mask out of one of the suitcases in the back seat and hand it to her. She doesn't put it on. I'm not sure why I didn't insist. I really should have. What I did insist on was that she wear a seatbelt. She didn't put on her seatbelt at first. I told her that I wasn't going to drive her anywhere without a seatbelt on, and she finally agrees. I ask Beth what kind of music she likes. I want to make the trip as comfortable for her as possible. Fortunately, she likes classic rock, so I put some on. Hell yeah! After a few minutes into our drive, Beth asks to stop to get a milkshake and a Coke. I offer to get her something more substantial, like a burger or something, but she declines. We find a Burger King. I ask her what kind of milkshake she wants, and she tells me she wants vanilla. I put the order in and pull up to the pickup window, and she says, "Oh, I want chocolate." I ask the server in the window to change the order, and they make her a new one. I pay for her milkshake and soda, and she seems surprised. Maybe she thought she'd have to pay for a more substantial meal? But I didn't even hear a thank you. It was more, "Oh, you're paying? Okay." I have a burger. Now, Beth won't drink her milkshake or soda with a straw. She removes the lid and sips them as we're driving at 75 plus miles an hour in a car with a sports suspension. Oh no. This of course results in her spilling part of her milkshake. I let her use the single functional cup holder for her Coke. She asks if I have another cup holder, which I don't, and she seems upset about that. After Beth drinks her milkshake, she barely touches her Coke. She takes off her seatbelt as we're driving. She says she has to digest. I have to tell her that I'm going to stop the car unless she puts her seatbelt back on. She does. I feel like I'm dealing with a 5-year-old. We get settled in and we're getting along okay. I don't press on details of Beth's life. All I know is that she has a daughter in Florida and she spent time in California. She claims to have a billionaire uncle in Miami who can help her out. I have no idea if that's true. She also tells me she's 58 and used to be a dancer. I think an exotic dancer, but I didn't press for details. I figure I can keep this up a bit and maybe I can take her further. As As we're coming up on Savannah, I tell Beth I'm planning to drive through Savannah to see the Green Meldrum house, but can continue on shortly thereafter. She says, "Nah, let's keep going. I've got plenty of gas and I'm not fatigued at all, and not hungry, so I agree. We'll just go straight to Jacksonville, which is 2 more hours south. I figure she's probably anxious to get home. I guess I can see the landmark on my way back." After we pass Savannah, Beth asks to stop for another milkshake and Coke. We're in a pretty sparsely populated stretch. I get off the highway and there's a convenience store and a restaurant, but no drive-thrus. She won't get food here. She insists on ordering from a drive-thru. We get back on the highway and drive to the next exit with a drive-thru. Okay, OP is really friendly here. We're waiting in line at the second drive-thru of our afternoon, a Dairy Queen. Beth still has plenty of Coke left, but says she wants to get a new one. Most of the ice is melted, so I understand why. She points out that there's only one cup holder. I tell her she can dump the old Coke. What she does is chuck the whole cup out the window into the parking lot of the Dairy Queen. We weren't alone. There were other cars there. I'm pretty upset about her littering, so I put the car in park. Go around to the passenger side and pick up the cup. It's not like I would ever see the other drivers again, but I did not want to be some butthole in an Audi convertible from New Jersey who litters on someone else's beautiful state. We get our order at Dairy Queen. This time I make it clear I'm paying for the meal. She gets a popcorn shrimp combo, which is fine with me. At least she's getting some protein. OP, you're so sweet. But she ends up eating barely any of it. She once again refrains from using a straw to drink her milkshake. Once again, we got 2 straws, and she spills more. At one point, I put on a news radio station. After a few minutes, she says, "Let's listen to something else." Aside from these hiccups, things are cordial and pleasant. She initially asked to be taken to a truck stop in Tampa, but I want her to be safe, so I offer to buy her a bus ticket. At least this time I got a thank you. It's $44. I only have $40 in my wallet, but I know she has some cash on her. I stop at the Greyhound bus terminal in Jacksonville. She accepts my $40 and heads inside. Now, I really should have taken off, but I decided to have a snack and rest for a few minutes. As I'm getting ready to leave again, I see Beth walk toward me. I ask her what happened. She says, "They won't sell me a ticket. The lady said they were sold out and I should come back in a few hours. This happened last time too, even though I told her I had money for a ticket this time. It was the same— oh no. It was the same N-word as before." Had to censor for this sub. I can't say I was shocked at her racism, but man, I was just trying to do something nice for someone in a bad situation, and she had already been at this Greyhound station in Jacksonville and gotten in trouble before? My guess is that whomever she's going to see in Miami wants nothing to do with her. If you've read this far, thanks for listening to my rant. I just took an unnecessary risk for someone pretty rotten. At least she's safer now? I don't know. I realize I could post this on Am I the Butthole for validation, but I definitely know I am not the butthole here. That is terrible. That is horrible. But does that make a good story? Alright, this story's called, yes, The Expert. I am 15 years old and earn a little bit of money for myself with repairing bikes near a local dirt jump spot, mountain biking. I mostly help little kids that have problems with their bike for free because they can't do it better. I know very much about bikes and have proper tools to repair them. Anyway, one day, a guy wrote me via DMs on Instagram and asked if I could help him with a little bent in his wheel. Sure, I said, and asked for some pictures and more information about the bike. By the way, I always tell people when I think that I can't fix it and say they need to get to a bike shop. When he sent me the pictures, I was shocked. The rear wheel of the bike was completely destroyed and damaged. I told him I can't fix it and he should visit a bike shop. But he said he ordered a new wheel and I have to put it on. So I asked again for more information about the wheel. He ordered a 26-inch wheel. The bike was a size M 29-inch bike, so no way it's gonna fit. Also, I guess the wheel he ordered was for a kid's road bike. The bike he had was an adult mountain bike. When I said that's not going to fit, he got angry. But I already paid for the wheel. You have to put it in for free now. I said nothing and blocked him. That was probably a good idea. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.